Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Great to see you. Lovely to be here with you all. It was dark when I got up at 5:30 this morning. I don't know what's happening. Where did summer go? I'm not sure what's going on right now. I'm not sure I'm ready for this. uh this morning I wanted to get into a topic that's really it's so simple. And yet it is so profound and it is something that we can all do and all learn, and yet it is so poorly done. And I think that this is such a valuable little tidbit teaching to dive into. So let me start by saying this past week, I had to walk through a really challenging moment. Something very scary happened. Someone that shouldn't have been in my house came in my house without my permission, and it was very frightening. And then this person was kind of threatening on the outskirts and showing up in my, and it was quite disturbing. And it led me, it brought back some really old stuff, some really old trauma from my past, having been in a very abusive, violent marriage and being threatened by a man and all of that. And I was witness to all of that. And then my higher faculties were kind of like, yeah, but I know better and shouldn't be kind of in this response, this like freeze and kind of terror response. And and normally in my past, I would have been inclined to figure it out, suck it up, walk through it, sort it out, solve the problem. And I just couldn't. I just was like, felt overwhelmed by it all. And I thought, this is an opportunity. If this wound is coming up, if this event has happened where, like, I felt unsafe and my home was violated, and I, I thought there's a reason. I have to believe there's a reason for this. What is the reason? It's not to terrify me. It's so that this old wound can surface and I can actually have a look at it and heal it. And what do I need to do differently? So I looked at how I handled things like that in the past, and I felt ashamed, and I thought I should, like I said, deal with it myself. And I didn't tell people because I didn't want them to think I did something wrong or I was failing or whatever that was. So I recognized that in order to heal, we need to feel. I had to feel this in order to get through it, but I couldn't just sit there and feel it because it was quite terrifying and yucky. And so I did something different, and I called my dear friend Erin, who is a coach and a friend of mine, who lives in Alberta, and we talk several times a week. And Erin didn't try to fix anything. She sat with me on the phone and she said, "Of course, and no wonder. And you got to take care of you, and I'm going to take care of you, and we're just going to just hang, we're just going to just be in the muck together." Now, this person that was violating my space and my safety happened to be nearby and making themselves quite known, and was going to be present somewhere that I had to be. And so Erin did something else extraordinary. She called a mutual friend of ours and sent him to my house, and he sat there. He just sat with me. He didn't try to fix anything, figure it out, didn't try to solve the problem, didn't try to, just gave me presence and let me feel and let me ask for what I needed. And it took me a while to ask for what I needed. I longed for support, but I felt awkward and ashamed that someone had to give their time to me and come over to my house and sit with me like a child. And what I recognized in just sitting in that discomfort was that my ability to give generously often outpaces my ability to receive. And I think that's probably true for a lot of us. We're very comfortable in giving and giving advice and fixing and doing, but not very comfortable when we have to receive. And that experience reminded me that there's healing in learning to receive presence as much as in giving presence, because I didn't need someone to give me advice. I didn't need someone to fix anything. I just needed someone to sit and not flinch about it all, to say, yeah, of course, and it's okay. So there's two aspects to this. The first is that if you ask me for an apple and I don't have an apple, how can I give you an apple? So if you ask me for presents because you need presents and I don't know how to give that to myself, how can I give it to you? So the first step is for us to be able to learn to be present within ourselves. And it was that moment of presence within me that recognized there was something that needed healing, that I did something different, and then allowed someone else to be present for me, that altered what's possible. But if we are just cut off and we're not able to be present with our own emotions, how can we ever be present with someone else? And so it starts with sitting with our own feelings without judgment, noticing, feeling, accepting it, and then integrating those feelings. If we don't, we'll always struggle to offer authentic presence to others. And I can tell you that there's no advice, there's no fixing, solving, doing that is better than someone just looking you in the eye and being like, there's nothing you need to do here. It's perfect. Like, I'm just right here and I'm not going anywhere. That is medicine for the soul. It's saying you're not broken. There's nothing wrong. It's just part of life. And here we are. And I'm not going anywhere. Now, that kind of steady presence is healing for all of us on both ends, the person who gets to give and the person who gets to receive. So I'm going to ask you, how often do you try to rescue people? How often do you try to give advice and tell people what they should do and how they should fix something? How often do you admonish yourself and think, I should be doing better and I should know better? Consider that those are the things that actually get in the way of healing. When we offer advice and we try to rescue, what we're doing is essentially sending a message to the other person saying, you are incapable. This belief that you're incapable, I'm going to validate it and tell you that I know better than you. That's the message we send. And then we tell ourselves, no, but I'm just being nice. No, you're trying to be significant and important and feel good about yourself. That's very different than being nice. We don't like feeling powerless, which is why we give advice. We don't like feeling like the world is chaos and we can't do anything about it. So we try to fix. But when we can sit with the feeling of powerlessness, when we can sit with the fear of chaos, and we don't move, we don't flinch, then healing can occur. So to be present is to be present for ourselves first, and then to be able to offer that gift to others becomes like a bridge to the deepest kind of connection. I know when I told my mom what happened, immediately she just offered advice, and everything in me wanted to throat chop my mother. Like, I was like, shut up. Like, shut up. You don't think I thought of that? Like, everything in me was just. But when someone just sits and goes, whoa, got it. Yeah. That's just a beautiful gift. So, giving and receiving are not separate. They're part of the same circle. And when we allow ourselves to receive our own presence through meditation, through identifying our feelings, we open the door to receiving it from others and offering it without needing to fix. It's like Ram Dass's teaching, like make the tea. When you make the tea, you're just making the tea and there's nothing else. You're not trying to get a compliment about the tea or, make the specialist. You're just making the tea or washing the dishes or sitting with grief or holding space for joy. It just begins with noticing. I have a reading from Henry Nguyen this morning. He said, when we honestly ask ourselves, which person in our lives means the most to us, we often find it is those who, instead of giving advice, solutions, or cures, have chosen rather to share our pain and touch our wounds with a warm and tender hand. The friend who can be silent with us in a moment of despair, who can tolerate not knowing and simply be with us in our powerlessness. That is a friend who cares. Isn't that powerful? This is beautiful. So we must learn first to be, this kind of friend to ourselves before we can extend it to others. So a few questions to kind of ponder around this, I think could be helpful. Are like, how present am I with my own feelings right now? Am I busy just numbing out, in habit and default and keeping busy? Or do I give space and time to actually allow whatever I feel and I'm not shaming myself about it? And then what specific feelings do you tend to avoid or push away or distract yourself from? Is it powerlessness? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it like what are the feelings that it's it's good medicine to have a look at which feelings do I tend to avoid? And how does your relationship with your inner life affect the way that you can or cannot sit with others in theirs? In our teacher trainings, we actually have people sit with each other and share something deeply personal, and the person sitting with them is not allowed to say anything. They just have to sit and hold space. And it makes people squirm. It makes people squirm because they're faced with their own powerlessness. But that's something to sit within you. Where in your life are you invited to practice receiving presence from yourself and others? I think that for me, the lesson in this is receptivity. For myself, I'm pretty good at giving presence to others, and I'm good at being generous with my time and energy. And I'm just learning. I'm quite terrible at receiving it, like like kindergarten level. So this is my work to come into receptivity. Um, yeah, so that's what I have for you this morning. I think this idea of in order to heal, we need to feel within ourselves and to just be and feel with others. It's healing for the whole planet. When we stop trying to fix and change and alter and we just be with each other, it's just beautiful medicine. So let's meditate. Let's integrate that teaching with a meditation. So as you close your eyes, I invite you to first just drop into the sense of your body, your body as a space, like a vessel, the outline of your body from the skin in to the center line, and from the center line out to the periphery of your skin. Just bring a gentle awareness inward. And notice what you are feeling in the space of your body. Are there any physical sensations? Are there any emotional sensations? What do you notice about your mind? Is it busy, grasping? Is it still and clear? Don't try to change or fix anything. Just observe, just notice. Continue to notice everything that comes across and through your space. And as you notice each sensation or experience, say silently to yourself, This too belongs. Just imagine that you're sitting with yourself the way a dear friend would sit with you, patient, gentle, and accepting. And now, picture yourself receiving presents from someone who cares for you, as though they're sitting right across from you. Feel their quiet support. Let yourself soften into that gift, even if it feels awkward. Breathe in the awareness that receiving is an act of courage and connection. And feel that person's energy just surrounding you, holding you. And there's nothing to do or fix or figure out. You just feel held and seen and safe. Now bring to mind someone in your life who might need presence. Maybe someone you've been giving advice to. Imagine just sitting with them, not fixing, not solving, just being, surrounding them with your beautiful, accepting energy, offering them the same open hearted presence that you've given yourself and received. Rest in the awareness that presence flows in a circle: presence with self, presence received, presence offered. Notice this circle within you now. And bring your attention to your breath and just simply notice the breath moving into and out of you, the breath that has witnessed you from the moment you arrived here on the planet. With steadiness, unflinchingly. The breath as a teacher is a powerful noticing. I'll take a deep, full breath in through your nose and sigh it out your mouth. And to offer presence to others, we must first offer it to ourselves. And to receive presence, we must learn to sit with our own feelings with compassion. And when we can do this, giving and receiving flow together as one generous circle of love. Let your eyes flutter open. Mm. So I'm going to give you a little tool that I've been using with myself recently that's been very helpful. And we tend to be really hard on ourselves, which is why we are hard on others, why we give advice to others, because we actually judge ourselves. We say, I should know better, I should have done different, why am I so, all of that. And then when other people are that way, we're like, they should have known better and I'm going to tell them what to do. All of that just comes from our own, it's a reflection of our own feelings of inadequacy. And the way to heal that is not through shaming ourselves. We can't shame ourselves into healing, and we can't bully ourselves into healing. What we can do is have compassion for ourselves, and then we can offer it to one another. And one of the greatest little access points to compassion is when you feel a certain way to actually offer yourself this. Of course, and no wonder. Like, of course you feel that way because you've had some things happen in your life. And no wonder it feels like this. And just allow yourself that sweet space for a moment to soften and have compassion and, like, of course, and no wonder. And from there, that gives a little bit of space for you to say, okay, what do I need? Because we're often looking outside of us as the source of our discontentment and outside of us for the source of our healing. But where we're responsible is to actually notice, like, what do I need? And do I need someone to sit with me? Do I need some present? What is it that I need? That's my responsibility to identify what I need and be able to ask for it. But we can't get there if we're so busy judging ourselves. So, of course, and no wonder, are just beautiful little access points. And what a beautiful gift to give to someone. When I called my friend Erin and she said, of course, no wonder, I immediately just felt seen and softened and held. And it was just such a beautiful gift. So, this is my invitation for you to be compassionate with yourself, to sit with yourself, to be able to offer yourself that space so that we can offer it to others, because life will knock us all down. Life will take us to our knees at times. And I think that I can't remember who said it, but there's a saying that says, I don't care how you walk with kings, but show me how you sit with the broken. Like, that's the measure of character, right? Isn't that beautiful? And this is how we sit with the broken, with compassion, with love, with acceptance. So I am really grateful for this lesson and for continued healing. And I'd love to open it up if anybody has anything they'd like to add this morning. Stop.